Well, you probably heard when actor Gary Coleman passed away, it was his estranged wife, Shannon, who pulled the plug. Okay, even more bizarre than that, this went against what Coleman wanted, according to his health care instructions. So what rights do estranged spouses, ex-spouses really have? Well, we brought attorney Lori Viviano in because, I mean, this just blew everybody's mind.
No, this is when, if you decide you're going to divorce someone, you need to deal with all these little details, because no one ever thinks, you know, you and I are sitting here and we're healthy and we think, oh, everything's great, but, you know, he died unexpectedly. Well, guess who's your first line of relative is your spouse.
And I think the confusion, Lori, is that people were calling in the media his ex-wife, Shannon, his exes, they're not technically divorced.
No.
That's where it comes very tricky.
If you decide you're going to get a divorce, and you know, I put some of my suggestions, it's not just going through a divorce, but you're kind of in that limbo period. Once you're technically divorced, then that person has no right. But let's say, even on a health care directive, if you don't cancel that person out, then they still have control. What about insurance? Let's say after you divorce, you don't take them off your insurance. Then they receive the money. You really need to take time. If you've really decided, yes, I want to divorce this person, you need to, you know, get rid of your estate, your trust. You need to make sure your health directive gives somebody else control. Oh, there we go. See, we did this.
Yeah, when you file for divorce, okay, this is so important. So, guys, or gals, if you can get a pen and write this down,
right.
We'll get them on the website for you too. But revoking anything that has your spouse's name on it, and talk about why that's so important.
I think, you know what, we all think we're going to live forever. We never think, but you could be in a car accident, you could have a heart attack, you could have a stroke, you could drown. And I don't mean to say anything, but, you know, I just envisioned this, you know, current wife, ex-wife, I mean, you know, not ex-wife, but, you know, trying to pull the plug, and the other one going, no, I've got control. You don't want...
It's like a TV hospital drama.
You're right. You want the person that loves you to control the important aspects of your life.
One thing that's on here that really caught my eye is that your family has a copy of all your finances.
Yes.
And that seems like something maybe a lot of us wouldn't think about.
I don't care. Everybody out there watching right now, make sure you do this. Do it now. What happens is someone dies or someone goes to get a divorce. They don't have a clue. They don't know what insurance they have. They don't know what health insurance. They don't know anything. And probably what happened in this case is they were going through a divorce, and for whatever reason they just stopped. And then here you are in limbo, and then he gets sick and she goes, okay, great, let's pull the plug, and oh, by the way, now I get all the money.
It seems unbelievable, but of course, because of the legalities, it's fact. What could have been done differently in this case, and what can people do differently who are watching this today?
Finish your divorce and make sure somebody that you absolutely trust has a copy of all your documents. You know, it can be a family member, it can be a best friend, because again, if you are sick, like people will say, oh, I have a copy of it in my safe deposit box. It isn't going to do very good in a safe deposit box. Let's say Gary Coleman had had a friend that had all these instructions and directives and all this. They could have said, oops, excuse me, that's not what we're doing here. And then at least it would have been somewhat of a battle. You have to look at it from the hospital's point of view. She's the wife by law, and she says this is what's going to happen. And you can say the health care directive, but what we don't know is, did the hospital even have a copy?
Lori, are there any amendments you can write or legality a document where before the divorce is finished, in that interim time, where the spouse can write something so if anything does happen, that can be followed?
Yes. Yes. Just really, it's important that somebody knows everything about you.
Wonderful. All right. It's the weekend, fun things, but of course you're always taking calls and emails.
Absolutely.
And you can help people with any of the questions that they have, and I hope you have a wonderful weekend.
And same to everybody out there, just please make sure that you have everything together and a copy, and that, you know, that, what does they say, that's why we all have insurance, because then we won't be in an accident. If you do all this, nothing will happen to you.
Exactly. Knock on glass table.
There you go.
Thanks, Lori.